Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for the invitation. It's really an honor to be here today. So I will give you some slides, some images about what is the textile and clothing industry in Portugal and why we consider now Portugal one of the most sustainable textile and clothing industries in the world. So we do like very much philosophy, but more than that is to use our knowledge to create value. And in Portugal, the textile sector is very important for us because we are the biggest region in Europe in terms of textile and clothing employment. And the trajectory of this industry in the last years is amazing because we reduced the number of employees, the number of companies, but we grew a lot in terms of exportations and in terms of turnover, as you can see in the chart in the right part. And a figure, we grew 50% in terms of value added and in terms of turnover per employee. The difference between turnover and production is near zero. It means that Portugal is still an industrial country in textiles and clothing industries. You have here the figures, but why sustainability as a driver for our industry? First of all, because the market is pulling this kind of products now. Second one is the rules framework we have. We have laws, we have principles to observe in the industrial behavior. And finally, the competitiveness challenges we have now. We have to move and move and move again in order to compete not directly with the low labor cost countries. So for us, it's compulsory to go into complex products, knowledge-based products, different products, and to be pioneer in certain areas. This is the case in terms of sustainability. Why we are sustainable? First of all, energy sources. Maybe you don't know that in Portugal, 2/3 of our electricity is produced from renewable sources. As you can see there, aeolic is very important for us. A huge investment we have done in Portugal, but nowadays we have about half of our electricity produced by wind power. Second one, water used. Since 20 years now, we have an integrated system to treat water and to manage water for textile and clothing industry. But why? Because we have strict rules as well in Germany or the other countries in Europe. We have the integrated system and finally a high level of compliance, the companies facing the rules. Waste management, more or less the same. The rules and the compliance of our companies on that point. We have in Portugal a world-class scientific and technological ecosystem. First of all, Citeve, my institution, is completely dedicated to textile and clothing industries, providing research development and supporting companies to invest and to innovate. Second one, Citeve, a Center for Nanotechnology and Smart Materials, is producing about 50% of its activity is related to textiles, smart textiles and sustainable textiles. You can see here the campus where the two institutes are based. And finally, several institutions dedicated to education. University of Minho, maybe the more well-known, the University of Beira Interior, and Modatex as a school for textile and technology and as well for design. Material science and technology in Portugal is very well developed now, not only in textiles, but related to polymers and paper, pulp, and so on. And this is, for us, a very strong basis to develop new processes and new materials for textile use. And very important, we have industry. We are really industry. So the industry in Portugal is somehow the living lab to develop these technologies and to put these technologies in the market. Portugal has a complete textile and clothing sector. So in a small region, maybe 50 kilometers circle, we have 90% of the total textile and clothing industry in Portugal. For that reason, and joining the fact that the industry in Portugal is completely eclectic, we have all processes, all kinds of companies, and they are really integrated. So if you need something in the textile or clothing products, you can go to Portugal and you will have a solution. Last, not the least, mindset. At this moment, we have a very well prepared generation arriving to industry. People with a completely international mindset, at technological level or management level, very well prepared. And this is really an asset for our sector. But in the north of Portugal, all people knows something about textiles and clothing. We have really a strong culture around textile and clothing. And finally, let's say, we export about 70% of our production. So the mindset in Portugal is really international. No companies there now thinking about the internal market. All the companies think about the world. So this is the basis we have in Portugal to say, maybe we are the more sustainable textile and clothing sector in the world. Why? Because we have skills for that, but more than that, we need to do so in order to maintain our competitivity or our competitiveness facing the eastern part of Europe or Asia or other parts of the world. Thank you very much.
So, I would like to tell you a short story that is concerned a country that is Portugal with a tradition in textile industry and clothing sector. We have tradition in this sector, but we are more than traditional. We have the ability to be innovative and to be sustainable. Although the Portuguese sector has already implemented some good practice in terms of sustainability, they are aware that they need to do more in a way to transition to a real circular economy. And this mindset, the textile and clothing Portuguese sector established this own agenda related with this area, sustainability and circular economy. And this agenda is focused in several points. First of all, design for circularity. The companies are aware that they need to create methodologies and criteria to have products that are conceived by the beginning with circular properties, you can say so. So that can be more with durability, recyclability, biodegradability, the ability to be and to be used and to maximize the use of resources that you have in the textile and clothing sector. We have also renewable sources from the bio-based sources, also for using of our natural and cultural heritage. We have products developed with cork that is natural, a natural product from Portugal. We use also, for instance, burrell fabrics that is very cultural in Portugal, was developed in the mountains, Serra da Estrela in Portugal, a very specific fabric that we don't find anywhere in the world. We have also to recover the textile resources. We know that you have already a lot of products, byproducts, or wastes, textile wastes, that you can reuse, you can upcycling, and give and have the long life of these kinds of materials in the process of textile industry. And in Portugal, we have even the ability of close the loop, because we can also pick the final product and transform then again in raw materials to do yarns and then fabric, etc. So we can, even in the same place in the world, in Portugal, close the loop of the materials. Or it's very important to have the traceability, to know where the products are from the source, from the raw material to the final product. What are the cycle of production of that product. Having this information and in a transparent way communicate this kind of information for the final consumer. We have to know exactly what was the flow of that kind of material, who was interviewing, what kind of process they are using, what kind of materials. And it's very important to have the total traceability and the transparent communication of this kind of information. We need also to do it in a very easy way, and probably here we have a very close use of Industry 4.0 to use it, the technology to communicate it in an easy and quick way to the final consumer. The closed loop of the process is also very important. We have to be sure that we all close the loop of all resources. I've talked already about materials, but we have to talk, and we are implementing measures, close the loop of the water, of the energy, of the chemicals, using or substitute replacement of the chemicals or materials that are hazards. We have to take the measures to be able to have a good way to close all the cycles of all resources used in textile industry. And finally, we need to communicate. And this communication is very important. We need to show what Portugal is able to do. And if you do not believe in my story, you should go to our booth, the Green Circle from Portugal, here in this floor, and you can see already what Portuguese textile companies are doing. But to continue to see this story, please follow us, because we will have more good news for you from the sustainability of textile and clothing industry in Portugal. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon to everybody. So I was invited to give you a brief overview how the Portuguese companies, let's say, work in Portugal. And so I come from Tintex. Tintex is a company born in 1998. And we evolved from being a company working only as commission services for dyeing and finishing to a company that is producing circular knits with responsible processes, innovative processes, and premium quality. So our approach to the market is bringing together the design, the responsibility, and the creativity in each product that we develop. We like to call ourselves smart innovators, and smart meaning exactly this combination of these values, but transmitting them to our products and to our materials and processes. This kind of innovation has been, of course, supported by an investment of years. This investment has started maybe with machinery, of course, and finishing technologies as well, also dyeing, but also putting the design research, the sourcing part of the materials, and the best techniques in our core business, let's say. Also, marketing and communication strategy has helped us till now to communicate these to the brands we work with. And we try to work as much as we can with partnerships. And we try, for example, with one of the parts, let's say, of our business is, as I said, materials, and we try to partner with, for example, Supima, Roica, Cicel, all of these that you can see in the slide, to develop and to create the best materials. So keeping the high premium quality that we use to present to our clients, but being able at the same time to give them the best materials in terms of sustainable innovation in the market. Another way of the smart innovation is the process. So, and to be able to achieve this innovation in terms of processes, we partner together with Citeve, for example, and Centi, technological centers in Portugal, and also other companies in different kinds of projects. This one, for example, is called Picasso, is a second phase of a project that originated this brand that you see over there, that is Colorau, is a patented process for dyeing without chemical dyes. It saves also water resources because you need to wash less, you need to use less chemicals. We are able at the moment to do in wool and cotton, but we are coming probably soon with some other kinds of materials, and it's something that is already real. We are able to produce small batches and soon bulk production. Another example of a project is called TextBoost. There is a big project. We are working only on this sustainable area, and is a project that we incorporate waste coming from other industries like food industry, wood industry, cork. There is something that we have a lot in Portugal, and incorporate this in our coating line. So we are able to present what we call vegan leather, to incorporate in different kinds of markets. So fashion for sure, accessories, clothing, architecture, and so on. And last but not least, I would like to show, I don't know if it's possible, but a video. So it's a corporate video that we developed at Tintex to try to show to the market, to transmit this message of cleanness, transparency, traceability, at the same time together with the technology that at the moment we are producing in Portugal, this smart innovation.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Besides being here in this fair, what are you going to do to make all this known abroad, outside Portugal?
Our life is dedicated to the company's life, and we try hard in order to have the right solutions to support the companies to have a competitive position in the market. So I think that the more difficult points are solved now in Portugal. I think that the most important is mindset. People think about sustainability, and very important is the fact that companies understood, they realize now that sustainability may be a business. So as my colleague mentioned before, one of the points is how to inform the consumers, not only in Portugal, not only in Europe, but outside Europe, that sustainability is possible. We have a roadmap to improve more and more the sustainable content of our products. And from now, I think that with the right communication, the right advertisement, about that skills, that capacities we have in Portugal. I think that more and more sustainable products will be a gift of Portugal.
Well, as a company, I think the approach to the market, as Braz Costa was saying, is very important. So it's very important that we are able to communicate what we do. And I think once we do it, and at least the feedback that we have from our customers and all the people that we are in touch with is, okay, that's good. I didn't know that you do that. So I'm really impressed to see how beautiful can materials be at the same time as they are sustainable. Because in a recent markets report, you could see that the behavior of people buying clothes, millennials in this case, was like that around 80% of them said that they are not buying more sustainable clothes because first, they are not beautiful, and second, because they do not trust the brands. And that's something that can change if the transparency and traceability can come to the consumer. And I think this is something that the brands can achieve together with the producers. Because if the brand knows where they are producing, how they are producing, they are able to communicate it. And I think it's something that has to change in this way.
Can I ask who has already visited our booth from Portugal, the Green Circle, from the audience? Well, a lot of people, great. But the rest, please go there, because nothing like seeing by yourselves what we have. And I can tell you that it's just a short sample of what we have in Portugal. And you can there touch, know, and in a transparent way you can see why we're saying that that kind of material is sustainable. We have led there the demonstrator to show you the source of the materials. So please go there and you'll see what we have already in Portugal, and I think you will be surprised with what we have and will follow us to see what is coming for the future, near future, I assure you.
One more information. The idea of this booth is to demonstrate that with sustainable materials, it's possible to make fashion products. We invited several designers to use this kind of materials, and the result was, in my point of view, really, really amazing. Please visit us in this floor.
Actually, this question is especially to Anna from Tintex. I follow your offer, actually, and I'm really amazed what kind of materials you have. I also ordered some materials from you for the brand I was working on strategy of sustainability from Poland, actually, from Warsaw. And I would like to ask you, because before this meeting, there was a meeting by Drip, and I would like to ask you about the cooperation with NGOs, with the Blue Band, and like how it works. What are your experiences about this? Because you just showed us the full option, like you're situated in one place, you can produce whatever, and everything is centered over there, which is also very sustainable because there's a lower carbon footprint, and that's very important. But also, like, why is it, if you can explain how it helps to cooperate with public or NGOs organization or the public support, because it's also another part that's important here, I guess.
Yeah, so Drip by Drip is an organization that Tintex supports. So I'm a board member, me as Anna, not as Tintex. But we at Tintex, we try to cooperate with these small organizations that has great visions, but sometimes difficulties to achieve results. And Drip by Drip is quite new NGO, and the main topic is water for sure, and saving water, and try to manage the best way the effluents coming from the textile industry. Blue Band is the first brand that is using fabrics coming with this concept from Drip by Drip, and in this case they are producing in Portugal, since the spinning of the materials, still the garment makers, all with Portuguese companies, is a great project. It was already in Kickstarter and so on. Had great results, and I think once these kind of NGOs find support from the industry, some opportunity to make some trials, let's say, to see how it works. This is how we try to cooperate. More than giving money, supporting with money, is the way to do things, you know. So is being there to say, you want to dye this in that way, so let's try it. You want to finish this in that way, let's try it. And this is how we work with in this specific way with the drip by drip and blue band in this case. And of course, this is one example. We have another kinds of partnerships, and we are always open to cooperate. So if somebody there is interesting, we are here to talk. But I hope I could clarify your question.
My question is to Anna. It's curiosity. What are the main countries that you have more proposals or projects connected with sustainability? Is something that is just happening here in Europe, or what do you feel about?
Not only in Europe. So our main market is Nordic countries, so Sweden, Norwegian, and so on. But we are also approaching US at the moment, and you can find really great brands over there as well in terms of sustainability and the willingness to change something in the way they are producing. We see more and more, we had this experience recently, but we are working with a quite known brand in the US that at the moment are producing the clothes in China and Vietnam. And they approached us for the material, but at the moment we are already discussing possible partnerships to produce the garments in Portugal, because they want to produce locally. And we also induce them to do that. So this is the part that is great, that we can have the contact with the brand, what was not happening before. And why was not happening before? Not because we were not doing this, because we are producing the same things for 20 years just with evolution, but because we were able to communicate and to show it in another way, with another image, with another language. And since we did that, we could reach to the brands that are the ones that are buying from us, and also saying, okay, but in Portugal we are able to partner with everybody, so please come there and look at the garment as a whole. So start from the spinning till the garment, and you get the full package. And I think this is something that is working well, so for the brands and for us as well.
Thank you very much for coming, and please take the opportunity to visit our booth, Green Circle by iTextile, our sustainable offer addressing really fashion. Please come. Thank you very much.